कुछ समय पहले मेरे गांव में एक बात फैली हुई थी मेरे बारे में। किसी ने तो फैला दिया था मेरे पिताजी का नाम लेके कि इनके लड़के ने प्रधान को 4 लाख दिए हैं, इनके घर के पीछे एयरपोर्ट बनेगा और इनका लड़का फ्लाइट से आता जाता है, अब सीधे उस एयरपोर्ट पे आएगा।
So, do you feel that if you had mentors in your life earlier, something might have changed or something might have been different?
I think I might have been a more normal developer. No one told me that it's a very stupid idea to try to create a social network from scratch when you are in class 9. A good mentor would have told me to not attempt it. Good thing I created a social network on my own and I had like 60,000 active users per month and nearly 1 million activities per month. In India's highest visited websites, it was among the top 1,000.
You started freelancing as well in your college days, right? What was the thought behind this to start freelancing?
Now there's this thing जो बहुत लोग नहीं सोचते हैं, कितने पैसे बनाने मैटर्स अ लॉट व्हेन यू आर फ्रीलांसिंग इन कॉलेज, क्योंकि कॉलेज का वो जो 4 साल है ना, वो बहुत डिसाइड करता है हाउ योर लाइफ इज़ गोइंग टू टर्न आउट एटलीस्ट फॉर द नेक्स्ट 5-10 years. सो आई केम फ्रॉम अ फाइनेंशियली वीक बैकग्राउंड, राइट, एंड मुझे पता था कि इफ़ आई डोंट मेक मनी देयर इज़ अ वेरी हाई चांस दैट एट सम पॉइंट इन माई कॉलेज 4 years of college I might not have the money to continue. The reason I know random stuff, the reason I know how not to fail is because I was let loose and I tried out everything which could have been considered silly.
Then you started your work on your startup when you came back to India. So what was that journey like?
You can't just choose your battles when you're in a startup, right? Everything will be thrown at you at once and you have to deal with all of it at once, right? Your developer is sick, you have a client who needs something done, otherwise their business will get impacted, right? And at the same time you have a TRAI raid happening on your office.
Welcome to a new episode of The Root Access. आज के हमारे गेस्ट की स्टोरी सुनकर ऐसा लगता है कि बाउंड्रीज बस हमारे दिमाग में ही होती है। मिस्टर अनुभव सिंह, सोचो एक लड़का जो यूपी के एक छोटे से विलेज से बिलोंग करता है जहाँ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी तक नहीं आती थी, बट दिमाग ऐसा कि 9th स्टैंडर्ड में खुद का सोशल नेटवर्क एंड सर्च इंजन बना दिया जो इंडिया के टॉप 1000 रैंकिंग वेबसाइट्स में से एक था। अनुभव started his journey as a freelancer during his college days and he got selected into Hacker Fellowship 0 Residency, that is in Taiwan. And in that he managed to raise $500,000 for his own startup. Now he works as a AI engineer. So it's been a crazy ride. इस पॉडकास्ट में हमने अनुभव की पूरी जर्नी अनफोल्ड की है. So let's dive in. Hello Anubhav, welcome to the Root Access. Thank you for joining us here today. So first I want to start from your childhood journey, right? जो आपका विलेज था, that was a rural village in उत्तर प्रदेश. उसके बाद आप शिफ्ट हुए in Assam. So
Yes.
in your village there was not even electricity.
Yes.
So आसाम में आपको पहली बार इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के बारे में पता चला.
Right.
And I think that was at the age of 3. If I'm not wrong, somewhere around that.
Around that.
And at 4 years in your school, you had your first interaction with the computer.
Yes.
So I want you to describe that. What was your first interaction like with the computer?
Let's get started from the very beginning. Hi Pratik, thanks for having me here. And let's come to the question. My first interaction with a computer, I remember at that time, I think the entire school had 1 or 2 computers, right? So it was I think a school wing which was separately for like LKG and UKG kids. So I remember I was there and our class teacher took us to a room and there she was using a computer to play some music, play some games, and we were going along with her, playing the games with her. It was crazy. I mean, there's this machine which has which has moving things and which is asking us questions, we are telling the answers, and how do I describe that experience? I like, मुझे अभी भी बहुत अच्छे से याद है that moment. हम सब ज़मीन पे बैठे हुए हैं and obviously there's a mat, हम ज़मीन पे बैठे हैं, she is using the computer and उसमें वो game वगैरह खेल रही हैं and we are playing along with her. फिर whenever we are correct उसमें music बज रहा है. It was a crazy experience. I was like, bro, if this is possible, तो मेरे लाइफ में ये मुझे और चाहिए, राइट. सो आई वॉन्ट टू प्ले गेम्स, आई वॉन्ट टू मेक गेम्स, आई वॉन्ट टू मेक दिस हैपन. इट इज़ सो फन, इट्स सो मच बेटर देन द टेलीविजन जिसमें मतलब बस चीज़ें आते रहती हैं, हिलते रहती हैं. सो yeah, that first interaction with computer was like, this is wild and I should do this more. Right. So yeah.
Because my first interaction was like कि it was doing what I was telling it to. Right, that's what I like the most कि मैं जो बता रहा हूँ वो कर रहा है यार. So it's listening to me, so I like that part. That's why I got connected to computers more. So that's my personal experience.
Yeah, for me, I think games were a big motivator early on, right? Seeing people play games, playing some games myself, and then I think the first motivation which I had with the computer was I want to make my own game, right? I obviously at that age you don't get guidance into making games. So I remember when I was in class 1 or 2 and we were handed the computer for the first time. We were allowed to do whatever you want for 1 hour. I remember the first thing that I tried to do was I tried to create a game, right? And I mean, obviously couple of minutes spent on that paint and all. But then I discovered, I think it was Microsoft Windows has a PowerPoint, right? I discovered PowerPoint, and in that I did some animations, and I was like, wait a second, this looks like a game, right? If I press this button, this changes. If I press that button, this changes. And I think the first game I tried making was in PowerPoint. Right, so the idea was that the PowerPoint presentation will come up and you have to click certain buttons, and based on that button certain action will happen on the screen, right? And the person who makes there were like 4 tracks. You had cars and you had to make the car reach the end of the track first, and I tried making that and it worked.
That's great. I mean, first game in PowerPoint, I think it's something that we can't imagine today, right?
Yeah, I know it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but that is all the education I had about game development.
So, if you do you remember which was the computer specific model that you used?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kids these days will probably not even consider it a computer. It was like वो डब्बा वाला monitor होता था ना, that white
CRT
color
monitors.
Yeah, वो IBM का I think computer था. Sorry, not even that. Even before that, the computer which I had seen, जो पहला computer मैंने देखा था, it was that वो नहीं, वो briefcase type होता था जो खुल जाता था, that Commodore type. I think it was one of those. I think IBM का था या Commodore था, I don't remember, but it was that briefcase type जो खुल जाता था and you had everything inside it. Right, so that was the first computer I saw, and the first computer I used was that dabba CRT monitor, and वो mouse के नीचे ball होती थी. Remember that? So I used it with that. You did not like have pen drives back then. वो floppy disk का ज़माना था, right? So I used the computer. I started using from that time.
I think floppy disks were in kilobytes, right?
I think there was the biggest floppy disk that was there at that time was 14 MB.
Okay.
Right. So 14 MB was considered a lot of data storage at that time. I mean, you could save 100, 200 question papers on it, because my father was a teacher, so he had those floppy disks, and every floppy disk was well marked, well written. It has questions of this year, of these classes, and it was so cool to see him do that.
आपका पहला कंप्यूटर कब लिया आपने?
मेरा पहला कंप्यूटर मैंने नहीं लिया, एंड फॉर्चुनेटली आई विल से मेरे फैमिली में आई हैड लाइक 3 elder siblings, right? And I had a lot of motivation from each one of them, because वो तीनों ही थोड़ा अलग हैं, एंड तीनों ही अपने में बहुत सक्सेसफुल हैं, राइट? सो द फर्स्ट कंप्यूटर जो हमें मिला, I was in class 5, my brother was in class 10, and he was studying in Assam board, right? Assam ka board is, I think it was called SEBA. So वो उसमें पढ़ते थे, and in that board, mathematics is considered to be the toughest among all the boards in India, and he scored the first rank in his school with almost perfect score in mathematics, right? So he got an award from the state government, and that award was that computer. So पहला कंप्यूटर हमारे घर में वही आया था. So my brother brought it, and I think that was a turning point in my life, because उनकी अचीवमेंट से जो कंप्यूटर घर में आया, उस कंप्यूटर की वजह से ही आई थिंक मैं तो क्लास 5 में था, मैं जब क्लास 11 या 12 तक ऑलमोस्ट हमने वही कंप्यूटर यूज़ किया, राइट. सो वो कंप्यूटर में मैंने सब कुछ स्टार्ट किया है, राइट. मेरा पूरा डेवलपर जर्नी वहीं स्टार्ट होता है. माई फैंडम फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ कंप्यूटर थिंग्स एक्चुअली स्टार्ट्स देयर. तो yes, that was a turning point, and yeah, we did not buy it. We got it as a gift, and I mean, my brother got it actually.
So you are the youngest one in the family.
Yes.
And what timeline are we talking about this? Like 2002, 3? I mean, what?
We got the computer in 2006. I think it was December of 2006, and पहला ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम जो मैंने चलाया है वो है रेड हैट लिनक्स. सो दैट कंप्यूटर केम प्री लोडेड विद रेड हैट लिनक्स, एंड वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट थिंग्स दैट आई हैव सीन बीइंग डन ऑन अ कंप्यूटर इज़ हाउ टू फॉर्मेट इट. और वो मेरे साथ रह गया. मैं अब भी सिस्टम्स फॉर्मेट कर देता हूँ आउट ऑफ जस्ट फेल्ट लाइक इट. ठीक है, तो बहुत सिस्टम फॉर्मेट किया है मैंने.
Just to have a like fresh start again.
आई मीन आई थिंक आई हैव दिस इंस्टिंक्ट इन मी. मैंने इतनी बार वो कंप्यूटर फॉर्मेट होते हुए देखा था कि देयर वाज अ पॉइंट जब मैं खुद करना स्टार्ट कर दिया उसको फॉर्मेट, एंड अभी भी मैं करते रहता हूँ. बिकॉज थोड़ा भी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है सिस्टम के साथ, फॉर्मेट कर दो, कोई बात नहीं. या
How did you start your coding journey?
एज आई थिंक मैंने बताया कि मुझे गेम बनाने का बहुत शौक था. तो मैं शायद क्लास 4 या 5 में था. आई थिंक क्लास 5 में भैया क्लास 11 में पहुँचे थे, राइट. रिमेंबर, उन्होंने 10th पास किया, गॉट द अवार्ड, गॉट इनटू क्लास 11. एंड भैया जब क्लास 11 में गए तो उन्होंने ऑप्ट किया कंप्यूटर साइंस के लिए, एंड ही गॉट दोज बुक्स. वो सुमिता अरोरा की बुक आती थी, वो पिंक कलर की रेडिश काइंड ऑफ बुक आती थी उस टाइम पे, इंट्रोडक्शन टू C++.
I will put the image in the
राइट.
video.
वो हाँ, वो क्लास 11 एंड क्लास 12 के लिए वो बुक आती थी. तो वो बुक भैया उतना पढ़ते नहीं थे, उनको इंटरेस्ट नहीं था कंप्यूटर साइंस में. मुझे दिखा, मैं बहुत इंटरेस्टेड हुआ, मैंने वो किताब पलटना स्टार्ट किया, एंड एट अ पॉइंट मुझे दिखा गेम डिज़ाइन. तो देयर वाज दिस वन चैप्टर टूवर्ड्स द एंड जिसमें गेम डिज़ाइन था. आई लाइक ये तो करना है. अब प्रॉब्लम ये था कि वो इतनी मोटी बुक थी, ऑलमोस्ट 1.5 इंच की. और क्लास 5 का स्टूडेंट को अगर तुम बोलो कि भाई तुझे 1.5 इंच की किताब पढ़नी पड़ेगी टू गेट टू द थिंग दैट यू वांट टू गेट टू, नॉट हैपनिंग. सो मुझे याद है मैंने स्टार्टिंग के कुछ पेजेस पढ़े सो दैट मुझे समझ में आ जाए करना क्या है. फिर मैंने सीधे गेम डिज़ाइन वाला वो चैप्टर उठाया और कोड पूरा छाप दिया, एंड गेम बन गया, चल गया. ऑब्वियसली C++ जब आप कर रहे हो तो सेमी कॉलन, ब्रैकेट्स, अलग अलग टाइप के ब्रैकेट्स, सब चीज़ ध्यान देनी पड़ती है. तो ठीक है, वो प्रोग्राम थोड़ा लंबा था, कोई बात नहीं, बनाया, बन गया. अब ये हुआ कि कुछ चेंज करके देखते हैं. थोड़ा सा कुछ चेंज किया, थोड़ा सा और कुछ चेंज किया, करते करते एक दूसरा ही गेम बन गया, राइट. और ये करने में ही आई थिंक थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया हो गया कि ठीक है, यहाँ पे सेमीकॉलन लगाना है, यहाँ ब्रैकेट लगाना है, और जहाँ पे नहीं समझ में आया बुक में देख के रेफ़र कर लिया, राइट. एंड इवेंचुअली आई हैड क्रिएटेड अ गेम एंड आई लव्ड इट. किसी को नहीं समझ में आ रहा क्या हो रहा है, घर में कोई नहीं था जो समझ के बता सके कि हाँ तूने कुछ अच्छा किया है, बट मुझे तो मज़ा आ रहा था ना, मैं तो खेल रहा था. कुछ नहीं था, स्टूपिड सा था. आई थिंक मुझे याद है वो नंबर गेसिंग था कि आई एम थिंकिंग ऑफ अ नंबर, कैन यू गेस इट. ठीक है, तो मैंने एक नंबर दबाना है, वो बोलेगा कि अपर, लाइक अप जाना है या लोअर जाना है, राइट. ऐसा एक स्टूपिड टाइप का गेम था, बट मुझे बहुत मज़ा आया, मैंने बहुत टाइम स्पेंड किया इसको खेलते हुए. सो ठीक है, आई थिंक C++ में वो गेम बनाया. उसके बाद फिर मैंने गूगल सर्च किया, C++ में गेम बनाया, तो लोगों ने बोला बहुत बुरा आइडिया था, जावा में बनाओ, जल्दी बनेगा, अच्छे से बनेगा विद लाइक विंडोज़ एंड ऑल. तो फिर जावा स्टार्ट कर दिया मैंने कुछ टाइम बाद, एंड देन इट वाज अ रोलिंग बॉल फ्रॉम देयर. मतलब गेम बनाने के चक्कर में कुछ भी पढ़े जा रहा हूँ, कुछ भी किए जा रहा हूँ. आई रिमेंबर क्लास आई थिंक क्लास 8 में देन आई गॉट स्टार्टेड विद लर्निंग वेब डेवलपमेंट, क्योंकि कहीं तो पढ़ के मुझे पता चल गया था कि वेबसाइट में गेम बनाना इज़ ईजियर, फ्लैश वगैरह में सुंदर एनिमेशन के साथ गेम बना सकते हो। तो ये मैंने कहीं तो पढ़ लिया था, मैंने फ्लैश थोड़ा बहुत सीखा, फिर मैं वेबसाइट्स में चला गया। उसके बाद फिर थोड़ा गेम डेवलपमेंट कम हो गया, बट कोडिंग थोड़ी बढ़ गई, क्योंकि जो पहला प्रोजेक्ट उठाया वो थोड़ा पहाड़ टाइप का था। तो आई थिंक उसके बाद तो फिर कोडिंग कभी रुकी नहीं, मतलब कंटिन्यूअस कोडिंग करी है मैंने फिर।
I think you started around 5th or 6th standard, right? That too with simple C++.
यस।
And जब फर्स्ट गेम बनाया था तब एज क्या होगा? आई थिंक अराउंड,
तब तो क्लास 5 में ही था।
अच्छा तभी बनाया था, द फर्स्ट ट्राई दैट यू डिड,
Yes.
यू बिल्ड द गेम, एंड उसके बाद फिर यू जंप टू वेब इन आई थिंक 8th स्टैंडर्ड। तब आई थिंक
Yeah.
क्या था वेब? आई थिंक HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's like
नहीं,
or it was something?
PHP,
PHP.
MySQL, JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, and देखो C++ तो जब कर रहा था तो वो बॉर्डलैंड C++ होता था, और याद है वो ब्लैक एंड ब्लू स्क्रीन आती थी, तो उसमें होता था, ठीक है। फिर जब जावा किया तो उसमें ब्लू जे बोल के एक सॉफ्टवेयर आता था, उसमें किया था मैंने। और ये भी था एक नेट बीन्स ID बोल के एक आता था, उसमें करा था। तो ये सब फिर भी ठीक था। जब PHP करने की बारी आई तो मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि इसको किया कहाँ जाता है, राइट। पहले तो बहुत टाइम लग गया समझने में कि भाई कहीं भी टेक्स्ट फाइल बना के .php करके रन करा दो PHP रन टाइम से, चल जाएगा, ठीक है। बहुत टाइम लग गया ये समझने में, मुझे कोई था नहीं बताने वाला। और पहला जो मैंने कोड लिखा था, इनफैक्ट नॉट जस्ट द फर्स्ट कोड बट द फर्स्ट एंटायर प्रोजेक्ट एंड 3 फर्दर वेरिएशंस ऑफ इट, मैंने लिखा है उसको नोट पैड में, नॉट इवन Notepad++, नोट पैड में। इंडेंटेशन क्या होती है भगवान जाने,
आईडी क्या होती है कुछ पता
कुछ नहीं आइडिया। बस नोट पैड में कोड किए जा रहे हैं, एक फाइल का लेंथ 1000 लाइन, 2000 लाइन, 3000 लाइन, सिर्फ नोट पैड में विदाउट इंडेंटेशन बस लिखे जा रहे हैं विदाउट एनी काइंड ऑफ ऑटो कंप्लीट, सिंटैक्स वैलिडेशन, एरर चेकिंग, कुछ नहीं।
That's crazy. If you think nowadays people are writing code with AI copilots, and there was a time you had to write character by character and check.
लिटरली मतलब दिमाग में एकदम बना रहता था कि अच्छा ये ब्रैकेट यहाँ ओपन किया है तो यहाँ क्लोज होगा। एंड दिस वर नॉट लाइक, दिस वाज नॉट अ इजी प्रोजेक्ट। मैं पहला जो मैंने प्रोजेक्ट बनाया था इट वाज अ सर्च इंजन, राइट। सो इट्स नॉट एट ऑल ईजी। मुझे याद है वो सर्च इंजन बनाने में 3 या 4 लेवल्स ऑफ एरेज में मैं गया था, राइट, टू कैलकुलेट कि किस लेवल ऑफ एरे में क्या हो रहा है, उसको कैसे मैनिपुलेट करना है, एंड हाउ टू प्रोड्यूस द फाइनल रिजल्ट्स। ये चीज़ मैंने मतलब कॉपीज़ में लिख लिख के कुछ नहीं तो 10-15 पेज भर दिए, और जब मैं इसको कोड करने बैठा तो मेरा बहुत जोर से हेडेक हो गया था कि कंटिन्यूसली आई एम थिंकिंग ना कि यहाँ पे ब्रैकेट ओपन किया है, यहाँ पे क्लोज करना होगा, यहाँ पे ये लूप डालना पड़ेगा, यहाँ पे ये लूप डालना पड़ेगा। ये करते 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 लाइक इट वाज अ वेरी लॉन्ग फाइल एंड आई हैड अ हेडेक बाय द एंड ऑफ इट। फिर मैंने 1 हफ्ते कोड नहीं किया था लाइक हो गया ये, बस हो गया, चल रहा है।
बिकॉज प्रॉब्लम इन दैट कि देर इज नो सिंटैक्स हाईलाइटिंग फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल। ब्रैकेट्स आपको पता नहीं है कौन सा कहाँ स्टार्ट होगा, कौन सा कहाँ रुका है। So I think that's the biggest challenge in this scenario.
हो रहा है तो ढूंढो।
Because अभी if you see like if you apply for FANG or MANG interviews, वो notepad पे ही कोड करवाने बोलते हैं। So I think it's something that you build from childhood only.
Unfortunately, I have done more than 10,000 lines of code in Notepad, so
I think it's something that you should add to your GitHub profile.
yeah, interesting. My GitHub profile is actually pretty old. It's almost 14-15 years old profile, right? तो जिस टाइम पे मैंने GitHub प्रोफाइल बनाया था, GitHub was very new. Like people did not even know कि GitHub कर क्या रहा है, right? I remember जिस टाइम पे मैंने वो अकाउंट बनाया था, I think Bitbucket was more popular, right? So I have kind of seen GitHub grow.
Amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
it's a bit crazy. मेरे प्रोफाइल पे लिखा हुआ है बहुत जगह पे कि वेब लाइक डेवलपर सिंस बिफोर बूटस्ट्रैप एरा, राइट। नाउ दिस इज अ इंट्रोडक्शन व्हिच इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड आई फील आई कैन गिव टू ओनली अ लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ पीपल। आजकल तो बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं है बूटस्ट्रैप क्या है।
People only know Tailwind and Shadowsea these days.
टेलविंड,
बूटस्ट्रैप किसी को पता ही नहीं है क्या होता था।
लाइक बूटस्ट्रैप ने क्या किया था इंटरनेट के लिए, नो वन इवन रिमेंबर्स। ट्विटर खुद बूटस्ट्रैप पे नहीं है अब।
So I think Bootstrap जो कर रहा था अभी kind of Tailwind has improved it and is doing.
leaps and bounds ahead.
So there is a interesting sentence in your TED talk that I was watching. Like you used to sit with kids who hated computers in your computer class.
Yeah.
So क्या था इसके पीछे का logic कि ऐसा क्यों?
Yeah, you sit with these kids, they are not at all interested in the computers. You can hog the computer for 1 hour. You can do what you want, right? Why would I not want that? Why would I want to sit with my friends जो थोड़ा कंप्यूटर savvy थे, जिन्हें गेम वगैरह खेलना पसंद था? बिकॉज उनके साथ बैठेंगे तो वो भी गेम खेलते रहेंगे, मैं भी गेम खेलता रहूँगा. क्या मतलब बना? मुझे तो गेम बनाना है, right? So this was basically my time that I spent in computer science class, at least till we got a computer. So almost all the computer classes I chose to sit with the one student who was absolutely not interested in using the computer, right? So it was a very easy choice कि इसके साथ बैठेंगे, ये तो घूमेगा जाके, मैं अपना जो करना है करते रहूँगा.
I'll create a game in PowerPoint and meanwhile
I'll create a game in PowerPoint, and not just one, I created many games in PowerPoint, to be honest.
Oh.
मतलब वो तो first success थी. उसके बाद मैंने बहुत सारे बनाए, अब भूल भी गया.
So you don't do game development anymore?
At least not in PowerPoint.
तो इतने सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए, इतने सारे गेम्स बनाए, कोड किया. व्हाट वाज दैट वन मोमेंट कि यार लगा कि बस दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू डू फॉर लाइफ टाइम, दिस इज व्हाट माय करियर इज गोना बी?
I think pretty early, not even like before before I made the first game I had this feeling. I remember I think class 1 या 2 में था मैं, and we had a computer science book. So at the end of the computer science book there was this list of people. कुछ 8-10 लोगों के फोटोज़ लगे हुए थे, कुछ नहीं, ब्लैक एंड वाइट. और वो फोटोज़ में उनका नाम लिखा हुआ है और उसके साइड में उन्होंने क्या किया फॉर द वर्ल्ड ऑफ कंप्यूटर साइंस ये लिखा हुआ है. लाइक यहाँ पे अपना भी नाम होना बनता है, राइट? सो दैट वाज अ मेजर मोटिवेशन फॉर मी. I think I saw a way in which I could be extremely logical and work with these cool machines and get my name recorded in history. So I think I should attempt this. I remember उस time पे the names that were in the book were like Larry Page, Sergey Brin, even the founder of I think HCL was there. Wipro founder was there, I remember, right? So all these names were there. Like यार अपने को भी करना है, कुछ तो इस टाइप का करना है.
Anubhav Singh should be
Yes,
somewhere.
it should be in some book. Although that turned out to be a sort of meme moment later. But okay. So about the meme moment, right? So I gave a TEDx talk at this college, HIT Kolkata, right? And they published their magazine in which they talked about the TEDx event that they had. And they published my name, Anubhav Singh, Google Developer Expert for Cloud, and he talked about this and this. और उन्होंने फोटो लगा दी अनुभव सिंह बस्सी की.
The comedian.
Yes. So someone saw that magazine, they took a photo of it and they tagged Anubhav Singh Bassi.
Okay.
And Bassi posted saying ये मैं नहीं हूँ. And then other comedians picked it up and they roasted Bassi.
Okay.
Yeah, so to remember this moment, I actually created a handle on Instagram saying not a Bassi.
Not a bus. Yeah. I know that one. That's a very interesting story actually.
Yeah.
Talking about books, I think you have published your own book as well, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so I wrote 2 books, and both of them pretty much at a very interesting time in the point of history of machine learning, right? Because the books are titled Deep Learning for Web and Deep Learning for Mobile Phones, right? How do you use deep learning with these platforms? And these books were written in 2018-19 and kind of published in 2020. Interestingly, shortly after that, deep learning, it went ahead in leaps and bounds, and we got GPT, right? So लोग थोड़ा भूल गए about using deep learning itself. But yeah, I think the books were written in 2020 and something. They were published with Pact, and one of them was with Shaq Paul, currently researcher at Hugging Face, and one of them was with Rimjim, who is currently a Googler and works on the YouTube app. So the mobile app one was with her, and the deep learning on web was with Shaik. Yeah.
So coming back to the topic in your childhood,
Yes.
I think you were 15 years old, you built a search engine and a social media network. You
Yes.
wanted to take over Google and Facebook at the same time.
At the same time.
That's what I feel. So,
Yeah.
what was the story behind it? Why these two things combined?
Yeah. So I made this social network and the search engine at the same time, and exactly as you said, मेरा एक dialogue था उस समय, I'll take down Facebook and Google at the same time.
And what was the
Right.
name of this project?
Yeah, it was called IUNV, and the idea was I, you, and we, right? So the whole idea of a community, right? So I created IUNV. I think I was in class 9 or something. I think class 9 I started building it and completed it once I got in class 10, something like that, right? And सोशल नेटवर्क एंड सर्च इंजन दोनों साथ में बनाने का एक बहुत ही लाइक स्ट्रॉन्ग रीज़न था. एक्चुअली टर्न्स आउट कि आई अंडरस्टूड दैट if you're able to combine social media and search as products, you can actually gather a lot of data and use that data in multiple ways, right? I was probably not wrong, because this is also the sort of time when Google attempted Google Plus, right? If you remember that, I think it came around 2010, 2011, right? So Google ने just attempt किया था ये, and I was like, this is a very crazy idea. This is very interesting, because you have a social network in which you have people generating data all the time, and then you have a search engine जिसमें आप वो data directly use कर सकते हो for producing results, right? So yeah, I tried doing that. I created a search engine, I remember, which worked decent. It wasn't great. I think I was using TF-IDF algorithm at that point of time. And then I realized कि TF-IDF had its problems. Scoring वगैरह ख़राब हो जाती थी. If you did keyword stuffing तो problem हो रहा है. And I decided कि इसको improve करना है. And I started working towards the BM25 algorithm at that point of time. And at the same time, there was Elasticsearch, which was getting developed by a different set of developers.
It was the same era. I
Yeah,
guess.
it was kind of in the same time, and it was also a very new project at that time. Besides Elasticsearch, there was another search engine which was being created, जो अब नहीं है. So I don't really remember the name of it, but a lot of my code was actually based off that, and that is when I actually learnt about natural language processing, because the internet was in natural language, and when you're building a search engine, you need to understand the content on the page. To understand the content, you need to go into things like named entity recognition, topic classification, and sentiment classification, things like those, right? So that is when I started doing those things, and eventually the search engine which I created towards the end of the second rewrite, it was actually very good. Unfortunately, by the time I completed this, I was in class 11 and I had a lot of study pressure, so I really did not go ahead and make it public or got a lot of users on it. But yes, the social network and the search engine which I had, they were popular, which I had built in like 2011 or 12. And at a point in India's highest visited websites, it was among the top 1,000, and in the top 1,000 you're also talking about a lot of government websites, a lot of popular websites, right? So I was pretty happy at that point of time.
As a kid doing that, I think
Yeah, I had like 60,000 active users per month.
What are you saying?
Nearly 1 million activities per month.
That's huge.
Yeah, I was dealing with huge data.
You might have collected a lot of data in that scenario.
Interestingly, I was never into collecting data and using that data, right? I mean, I thought that this is because I did not want to do it as a kid, or did not know that I could do it as a kid. But turns out I did not even do it when I did my own startup, right? I had a lot of conversations, millions of conversations. I never harvested them. I never used them for anything. So
just purely for analytics, that's all.
Yes.
Very basic analytics
Yes,
that
basic
is necessary
analytics.
from a marketing point
Yes.
of view, that's all. I mean, that's the ethical part
No,
about it, right?
you got to do things in a way that you can sleep peacefully at night, right? अगर ऐसा काम कर दिया कि रात को नींद ही नहीं आई तो फिर क्या मतलब है वो काम करने का?
So start हुआ with web,
Mhm.
then I think in this search engine
Yes.
era you shifted to natural NLP and ML.
Honestly, the search engine pushed me towards NLP, and the social network pushed me towards vision, because a lot of sort of gray area content was posted, and I needed to detect that as well. Right, people would post spam links, and I needed to detect those as well. So, spam classification, obscene material classification, ये सारी चीज़ें मैंने उस टाइम पे करी थी. It was not great, but it was useful.
I think
And
this is some senior dev kind of work you're telling. 11.
I remember मेरा पहला NLP algorithm which I wrote, it was mostly for the search engine, but also for the spam classification and all. I was using PHP at that time, so I started doing machine learning and stuff with PHP, and it took me a few years to switch to Python. कोई था नहीं ना बताने वाला कि भाई PHP में मत कर, not a good idea. So there was this Stanford NLP group at that time, and they primarily used PHP. They were very bullish on PHP, so I was like, हाँ भाई ये कर रहे हैं तो मैं क्यों नहीं करूँगा? So PHP and Java were like very standard at that time. I think I don't remember the name of the program, but there was this one very popular NLP library of the time, which was more powerful, considered to be more powerful, which was in Java, but मैंने वो use नहीं किया. I stuck with PHP, and the Stanford NLP group eventually shifted. I also shifted.
Like अगर Stanford यही कर रहा है तो why should I think on it?
कर सकते तुम, obviously it's good.
So that's what built your interest in ML, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been following the Stanford NLP group for a very long time, and I think 2012 or 13 there was a group in India. I don't know where they are today, but they were building, or they were attempting to build, a Jarvis operating system, right? So I got in touch with them. I got a lot of guidance from them as well, right? So I used to, obviously as a kid you don't know what to ask, right? So I used to send them wild ideas, and they used to send me back resources saying, go ahead and read this, go ahead and look this up and let us know, right? So I think that worked out as well. I am not in touch with most of them today. I think I'm in touch with one of them, and yeah, sometimes we talk in a few years.
That's very interesting, because having mentors in your life can be very good. But what is your opinion on this? Like, have you had any long time mentors in your life?
No. I think the best mentorship which I received was probably when I was in class 8, and we had a new computer teacher come in, just as a substitute teacher, because the previous teacher was probably ill or had taken a leave. There was this computer teacher who came in, and that was the first time in my life that I heard about PHP and MySQL, right? So almost no one listened to that teacher, because I mean, when you're in class 8 and you have a substitute teacher for computer science, you don't really listen to them, right? But then I loved how he talked. I loved how he explained things, even though no one was listening. The next thing I know, I asked him, like, can I come to your place sometime, and can you teach me more about this? So I remember I went to his house, and almost like 1.5 hours, 2 hours, he explained to me everything, right? Whatever he understood, he explained it to me. And I will not pretend that I understood most of it, but I came back, I googled everything, and that is when I discovered W3 schools. W3 schools had just started. The W3 schools that you see today, full of ads and full of subscriptions and different kind of tools, nothing like that was there. There were 5 or 7 courses, and they were like HTML, CSS, MySQL, PHP. There was probably a course about one related technology which I'm forgetting, but these 4 technologies I just started reading, I just started doing, and we are where we are. So I did not really have any long-term mentorship as such. I have had couple of good mentorship sessions which I think are worth remembering for a very long time.
So do you feel that if you had mentors in your life earlier, something might have changed or something might have been different?
I think I might have been a more normal developer.
Okay, that's a very interesting.
The reason I know random stuff, the reason I know how not to fail is because I was let loose and I tried out everything which could have been considered silly, right? If I had a mentor, they would have told me that, the first program that you should do is a hello world, the second program you should do is an input box, the third program you should do is probably write to a file. The first program that I did was how to make a search engine. Who tells that as the first project?
It's very complex.
Right? No one tells you that you should do a search engine as your first project, like a proper search engine, not even talking about local files. No, this was a server which was running on a web hosting 24/7, crawling the internet, extracting information, creating indexes, powering a full search experience the way any search engine should be. No one tells you that this should be your first project. So I think not having a mentor was a good thing eventually. I did attempt something crazy and I learned a lot out of it. And I re-attempted it. When I learned more, I re-attempted it. When I think building the social network, the first social network which I built was, I took an open source project at that time and I rebranded it to look like my own creation. I did not like it. No one told me that it's a very stupid idea to try to create a social network from scratch when you are in class 9. Good thing. I created a social network on my own, and I think it's a I don't know if it's a brag today or not, but at that time I had a 32 kbps connection, right? It was just mobile internet tethering, and that website would always load. Any page on that website would always load under 3 seconds. Wow. Right? So one of the reasons why I did this was because Facebook would never load on my internet, right? It was extremely heavy and it would never load. So I created that social network and it used to load under 3 seconds every page. It was full of AJAX requests and I had online chat as well on it, right? Notification system, all of it was there. A good mentor would have told me to not attempt it.
So in some way, having that 32 kbps connection, that limit to your connection, made you a better developer in the long run.
I could never watch YouTube videos without buffering. To watch a YouTube video of 1 minute meant I had to do buffering for like 10 minutes, if at all it succeeded. So I just read the documentation. I remember php.net was one of my bookmarked sites because it contains the documentation of PHP. And I learned how to navigate that documentation, how to understand the different functions. And in each of the documentation pages, I don't know how it looks today, but back in those days, they used to write tips and they used to write these common algorithms, right? So let's say, I remember there was this, I think, array sorting. There was this function for sort. When I went to read its documentation, somewhere down there was mentioned that this uses so and so algorithm. This is the complexity of this algorithm. I was like, wait, what? There are different algorithms? And I started exploring sorting algorithms, right? So that is how I got interested in sorting algorithms at that point of time. So, it worked out, right?
That's great, because abhi reels ka zamana hai. Everybody is scrolling reels and you don't have attention span, I think, more than 10-15 seconds. And उससे बढ़कर if you like reading more, I think that's very great. अभी क्या लगता है, अभी change हुआ है इसमें कुछ, still you like reading the documentation?
Absolutely. Given the option to watch a video of 1 hour and to read a documentation for 3 hours, I will choose to read the documentation, because when I read the documentation, I get to know everything that there is to know about that particular product. But if I watch the video, then I get to know whatever that guy felt was worth knowing. So I would rather know the entire thing. Spend a little more time, understand the full thing, do whatever you want to do. Right? Why waste time listening to someone who decided that, okay, this is important, this is not important? Why waste time doing that?
It might take more time to read the documentation, but in the long run, I think you will be much benefited from it.
You will read the documentation once and you will be able to guide everyone based on that. You watch the video once, you will not be able to guide everyone based on that. You will have to go back to the documentation and find out the missing pieces, and then you will be able to guide people. So what's the point of doing that?
Because documentation में everything is there. It's not like
डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पढ़ लिया एंड यू आर गुड टू गो, यू आर गोल्डन. कुछ भी पूछ लो, मैं बताएगा.
so after your school journey like 11 12 you shifted to West Bengal for your college. Why West Bengal first of all?
West Bengal, very interesting. So school time पे I actually went to Kolkata for a competition school side से, and this was the first big city I had been in, right? And I loved the experience there. I was like, okay, you know, you have people जो हिंदी में बात कर रहे हैं तो उतना कोई प्रॉब्लम हो नहीं रही है. Plus Bengali is quite similar to Assamese, and I had learned Assamese अपने school time पे, so I was like, okay, ये भी तो समझ में आ ही रहा है. And then it was like such a grand city to be in, right? So much history, so much culture, icons like Rabindranath Tagore, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So you had grown up seeing these guys, right? And you're like, okay, यहाँ पे जाना है, ठीक है. उसके बाद फिर a very interesting thing happened. I realized that among all the states in India which have a metro city, this is the only state where I don't have a relative. Plus, इसके adjacent states में भी कोई नहीं है.
So you have gone lens to find this out.
Yes, let's go to a place जहाँ पे जाके मैं अपनी ज़िंदगी अपने हिसाब से जीऊँगा, मुझे कोई रिलेटिव कभी परेशान नहीं करेगा. My purpose of going to college, I think, in a way was कि I wanted some time to explore as much as I wanted to without anyone telling me कि ये मत करो या ये अच्छा आइडिया नहीं है. सब करेंगे, सब देखा जाएगा, ख़राब आइडिया कोई बात नहीं, सीख जाएंगे, राइट? तो इसीलिए चले गए और ऐसी जगह गए जहाँ पे मुझे पूछने पकड़ने वाला कोई नहीं था. मेरा कॉलेज का एडमिशन मैंने खुद कराया है, मेरा फ़ोन नंबर भी मेरा ही है, मेरे फादर का फ़ोन नंबर भी मेरा ही है, ठीक है, वो सेकंड सिम. तो आई थिंक फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम कॉलेज में जब फादर एक्चुअली गए थे, आई डोंट थिंक ही एवर वेंट टू माई कॉलेज, ही वेंट नियर माई कॉलेज. दैट वाज इन थर्ड ईयर, राइट? सो ठीक है, बट आई वेंट टू बंगाल सेइंग कि यहाँ पे कोई नहीं है रिलेटिव. नो वन इज़ गोइंग टू इन्वाइट मी टू बर्थडे पार्टीज़, नो वन इज़ गोइंग टू इन्वाइट मी कि इनकी शादी हो रही है, यहाँ पे ये प्रोग्राम है, चले आओ, हफ्ते भर के लिए चले आओ, वीकेंड हो गया है चले आओ, लॉन्ग लाइक लंबी छुट्टी मिली है चले आओ. ये कोई नहीं करने वाला मेरे साथ वहाँ पे. एंड आई रियलाइज दिस आफ्टर गोइंग देयर इवन मोर स्ट्रांगली, क्योंकि वहाँ पे लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स दे वर फ्रॉम बिहार, झारखंड. कभी भी कोई छुट्टी हो रही है घर चले जा रहे हैं, राइट? घर जा रहे हैं, बढ़िया से खा पी के टाइम पास करके आ रहे हैं. वो टाइम पे मैं वहाँ पे बैठा हूँ, कोई नहीं है पूरे एरिया में, क्योंकि कॉलेज एरिया के आसपास पीजी वगैरह में सब अपने ही स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, राइट? तो कोई नहीं है, सब सड़कें खाली हैं. क्या करना है? बैठ के पढ़ेंगे, कुछ बनाएंगे, कुछ किया जाएगा, राइट? सो दैट आई थिंक वो जो गैप टाइम मुझे मिला ना, वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग था. मतलब जीरो डिस्ट्रैक्शंस, फुल फोकस, और जो मर्जी वो कर रहे हैं, जब तक रात में जगना है जग रहे हैं, ठीक है. नो वन टू लुक एट यू एंड से कि मतलब खा पी नहीं रहे हो क्या सही से, रात को सो नहीं रहे हो क्या सही से. एज मच एज इट बेनिफिट्स यू, इट्स ऑल्सो अ हिंड्रेंस एट सम पॉइंट इन लाइफ. तो वो करना भी ज़रूरी था, एंड आई एम ग्लैड इट वर्कड आउट गुड.
That's a very interesting take. You wanted zero distractions and full freedom. To like, I need these 3 to 4 years to myself. Maybe I can go in later and invest these times again. That's great. I mean, that's a very interesting way to think about it.
Be very far. See, ये जो चीज़ है ना, your loved ones, as much as they are a support system to you, as much as they help you stay afloat in life, sometimes you do have to disconnect for your benefit and eventually their benefit as well, right? I had 3 siblings ahead of me to teach me what not to do, and I chose to not do that.
So you have 3 mentors already in your life, if you want to say that. Yes. Right. So I think it worked out great as you wanted in your college life. You started freelancing as well in your college days, right? So nowadays freelancing is used as a very cool term, like I am doing my own thing. I don't think कि उस time वैसा कुछ होता होगा, freelancing इतना mainstream नहीं होता होगा, right? So what was the thought behind this to start freelancing?
Freelancing, yeah, very interesting phase of my life, to be honest. So there's this thing, आप कॉलेज गए हो और आपके पास फ्रीलांसिंग की अपॉर्चुनिटी है एंड यू हैव अ रियल अपॉर्चुनिटी टू मेक रियल मनी फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन योर लाइफ, राइट? उसके पहले कहाँ ही हम काम कर रहे होते हैं घर पे, मम्मी पापा तो काम करने देंगे नहीं कि हाँ ठीक है जा बेटे पैसा कमा, राइट? सो फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन लाइफ आई हैव द एबिलिटी टू मेक मनी एंड इट्स टोटली बेस्ड ऑन माई ओन स्किल. नाउ देयर इज दिस थिंग जो बहुत लोग नहीं सोचते हैं, कितने पैसे बनाने, ठीक है, मैटर्स अ लॉट व्हेन यू आर फ्रीलांसिंग इन कॉलेज. क्योंकि कॉलेज का वो जो 4 साल है ना, वो बहुत डिसाइड करता है हाउ योर लाइफ इज़ गोइंग टू टर्न आउट एटलीस्ट फॉर द नेक्स्ट 5-10 years. सो आई केम फ्रॉम अ फाइनेंशियली वीक बैकग्राउंड, राइट? एंड मुझे पता था कि इफ़ आई डोंट मेक मनी देयर इज़ अ वेरी हाई चांस दैट एट सम पॉइंट इन माई कॉलेज 4 years ऑफ कॉलेज I might not have the money to continue, right? So पैसे बनाना ज़रूरी था. मेरा पहला फ़ोन इनफैक्ट मैंने खुद को गिफ्ट किया था, राइट? दैट इज़ हाउ आई गॉट माई फर्स्ट स्मार्टफोन. ऑब्वियसली आई हैड अ बेसिक फ़ोन बिफोर, बट कॉलेज में आके बेसिक फ़ोन कौन चलाता है, राइट? सो यू नीड व्हाट्सएप एंड ऑल, बिकॉज 2016 में आई जॉइन कॉलेज एंड व्हाट्सएप वॉज द रेस, राइट? हर चीज़ के लिए व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बन रहा है, राइट? सो पहला स्मार्टफोन मैंने खुद को गिफ्ट किया था based on the first money that I earned from freelancing, right? And although I came from a financially weaker background, I always had this in mind कि पैसे उतने बनाओ जितने चाहिए, उससे ज़्यादा मत बनाओ. And although I had the opportunity to spend more time doing freelancing, trying to make more money, it was always about कि नहीं, this month I need this much, maybe 3 months later I need this much to cover my college fee. मेरा first semester, second semester का fee was covered by my parents. Third was kind of covered by my sister and brother-in-law. Fourth sem onwards I have covered my own fee for the rest of the college life, right? So first and second year, I think towards the end of second year I had started making good amount of money, but then I also decided कि I need to limit myself in how much money I'm making. So I limited myself in the freelancing. I gave myself more time to explore open source, to explore communities. That is actually when I started participating in communities, 2017 around June, July, and I started giving them a lot of time. It has worked out very well for me. सोचता हूँ कभी कभी, राइट, अगर उस समय सिर्फ फोकस पूरा पैसे बनाने में होता तो कम्युनिटीज़ में मैं कभी आता ही नहीं, ओपन सोर्स में मैं कभी नहीं जाता, राइट? एंड लाइफ वुड हैव बीन मच मोर डिफरेंट. I mean, the person I'm supposed to marry, I met her through communities, through open source, right? So maybe I would not have met her अगर मैं सिर्फ पैसा बनाने में लगा रहता, right? So yeah, I think freelancing was a very important part of my life because I didn't just do it for the sake of कि cool है, I did it for the sake of survival. मेरा पॉकेट मनी, मेरा कॉलेज का पूरा फंड, सब कुछ एट अ पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, आई थिंक सम टाइम अराउंड थर्ड ईयर ऑनवर्ड्स मैंने खुद सब कवर किया है. बट एट द सेम टाइम फ्रीलांसिंग में आई वॉज ऑलवेज लाइक आई नीड प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स विच आर चैलेंजिंग. डोंट गिव मी रैंडम प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट्स. यार सिंपल चीज़ें मत दो मुझे. वेबसाइट बनानी है बना लो ना, ठीक है, किसी और से बनवा लो, मैं नहीं करूँगा. तो मेरा पहला जो प्रोजेक्ट था दैट वाज अराउंड डेटा एक्सट्रैक्शन. सो देयर वर लाइक hundreds of PDFs and I had to extract data from them and put them in a structured format. So this was like kind of PDF parsing, थोड़ा OCR, थोड़ा named entity recognition, थोड़ा मतलब broken text को सही कैसे करते हैं, right? So all of these things were the first project. So obviously not the kind of project which someone in their first year would probably attempt, right? First year में usually when people start freelancing they are building websites, they are building small mobile apps and stuff like that. I was like नहीं ये simple चीज़ें मुझसे मत कराओ, मैं नहीं करूँगा, I don't want this money.
ये तो मैंने childhood में कर लिया था.
Yes. So I remember first year I started with this. One of the projects which I worked on was reinforcement learning training. So I had to automate the entire pipeline of reinforcement learning. And ये मैंने किया था second year में, right? और yeah, this was like kind of my introduction to reinforcement learning. And इस learning के basis पे in the third year of college I participated in TCS Nginx and we won the second prize all over the country. So it worked out well.
On a national level hackathon.
Yes. तो yeah, freelancing I always picked interesting challenges. कोई simple चीज़ें मत दो मुझे, right? And I think this was a very good filter that I put in because इसकी वजह से I got problem statements which were like extremely tough. They made me learn. They also made me money for survival, but they never made me greedy. अगर मैं simple projects उठाना start कर देता ना तो I would never have had time for community or even open source, right? So I think that was a very strong decision that I took and it worked out very well. I remember one of the projects which I did was for a bank, and when you're talking about a bank, तो उनके transactions they happen at a rate of like hundreds and thousands of transactions per second. That was the first time in my life that I was doing concurrency with PHP, right? And I realized not a good idea. I then tried out Python and it worked better than PHP, right? So I learned about multi-threading with Python at that time, right? Long before I actually used Python for data science, right? So it kind of got me introduced to new stuff, right? कुछ weird चीज़ें करनी पड़ी, कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें करनी पड़ी which were out of my comfort zone. And this is really important. Like if you ask me today if I would like to do freelancing, I would say absolutely, but give me a problem statement which is beyond what I've already done, right? तब तो मजा आएगा करने का. My startup actually got formed out of this habit. So मेरा startup जब form हुआ था तो there was a problem statement which was floating around in India for multiple years actually, and the client who wanted a solution to that problem had spent like $10,000-$20,000 already with multiple teams who had given up, right? So I think I was talking about my freelancing journey with someone and they said, you know, there's a project which has been extremely challenging for others. Do you want to try this out? And I was like, हाँ भेजो, let's see, looks interesting, sounds interesting. उन्होंने problem statement भेजी, the full problem statement. And मुझे याद है उस समय I was writing my books. तो रात के 2-3 बजे तक तो मैं books ही लिख रहा था. फिर I decided कि सोने से पहले एक बार problem statement देख लेते हैं. तो मैंने वो problem statement देखी. आधे घंटे बाद मैंने ग्रुप में मैसेज डाल दिया कि guys this is easy, solved है, कल बताता हूँ. And I went to sleep at around 4. अब जब 4 बजे आदमी सो रहा है तो 12 बजे से पहले तो नहीं उठेगा, right? So somewhere around 11 and 12 I wake up and I see the group is full of messages. People are like, what happened? So like क्या बना दिया, क्या हो गया, right? So I gave them a candidate solution that day, and that solution was freaking good. We started making money out of that project. The client finally had someone who had a solution to it. And based on the income that we had from that project later on, we put that back to start the company, which I later had as my startup for 4 years.
That's a very interesting story. I mean, there is a person who has tried a lot of things with, I think, a lot of companies कि ये problem statement मुझे solve करना है. And a freelancer out of nowhere from a college, you know, solves that in like 30 minutes. I think their minds would have been blown. Like, oh, what?
I think I'll probably go back to this again, right? Because I never had a mentor. No one told me that this is supposed to be a tough problem.
And related to this problem statement as well, I think it was like voice changing. Related to accents, something like
not really, no. This was more about video processing. extraction of information from videos. So
your startup was around voice and voice accents,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I think that was picked by some VC firm. I forgot the name of the VC firm.
not exactly. I mean, the problem statement was not picked by them. Yeah, that was something which we started doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I think someone liked that idea and
Yes,
they
yes.
invited you to
Yes.
the Taipei. I think that is
Yes.
in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And उन्होंने 3 months का residential program दिया था
Yes.
आपको. And I think that was your first ever international trip, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong. So I want to know about the experience
Oh wait,
there.
there's a very good story here. Yeah, so when we started doing like this freelance project, which was like making us good money, and we decided to start working on other problem statements to form a company to build a product. Um, we started working on this AI voice accent changer, and while we were working on this, I mean, we did not really have a lot of capital. We were just kind of in POC stage, right? And not even POC, I mean, we were just trying to create an MVP for this, right? And then somewhere around January of 2021, I kind of randomly applied to a startup accelerator which was happening in Taiwan for some reason, and it was happening in-house for 3 months. You had to travel to Taiwan and stay there. I did not expect anything. It was posted by one of my friends on Facebook. I was scrolling Facebook at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Things interesting happen at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., right? So I was scrolling Facebook, I saw the post, I applied, and surprisingly, I got an invite to attend an interview. I attended the interview, and the person who took the interview was like, "This is crazy. We love what you're doing. Let's get another interview in with my another founder of this program, and let's get you to Taiwan." And so we had another interview, and the other interviewer was also very happy. So, cut short, in March, on 1st of March, I landed in Taiwan.
What year?
And 2021,
Okay.
right? So this was in fact my first international trip. Interestingly, I had joined another startup just 20 days before this, right? So I landed in Taiwan, and there's a time difference of roughly 3 or 2.5 hours. And the first night of me in Taiwan, this was by the way COVID time. So I was quarantined for 21 days. The moment I landed there, it was a mandatory quarantine for everyone. So 21 days of quarantine, I reached the hotel, and I think I reached the hotel at around like 1 a.m. in the night, and I was very hungry. I had just taken a 35-hour flight because flights from India to Taiwan were suspended. The only flight route which was available was, I was in Kolkata at that time, so Kolkata to Delhi, Delhi to Dubai, Dubai to Taiwan, right? So this was like a whole V shape, a very long V shape, and it took me 35 hours to reach. I was extremely tired. I reached there, and I went to sleep at around 1, and somewhere around 6:30 or 7 a.m., which I think by India time it was like 10 a.m., and it was the time for me to join the morning meeting of the startup I had joined. I had not joined the meeting, and my boss from that startup, he called me, and he was told that I had not picked up my phone. Try again later, in Chinese.
Oh. Because you are in Taiwan.
Because I'm in Taiwan, I'm connected to the cellular
Yeah.
network there. And he immediately pings me on WhatsApp, "Why is your phone responding in Chinese?" Yeah, so my team lead, he called me later, and I was actually woken up by the call of my team lead. And my team lead later on became my co-founder in the startup, right? So he was like, "Bro, shit has gone down. The boss is very angry, and he's like, why is his phone speaking in Chinese? There is no good way for us to go around this. What do you want to do?" I was like, "I'll quit my job." So I have landed in a new country, and within 12 hours, I put in my notice.
What a series of events.
Uh, Interesting thing, I did not have a lot of money sitting in the bank account because I had just switched jobs. So obviously, some payments were due to come in. There were not a lot of payments going to come in, and I had just quit my job in a new country, and I was like, "You only live once, right?" So YOLO mode. And those 21 days, I gave a notice period of 21 days. That quarantine period.
इतना ही करूँगा मैं.
That quarantine period, I gave my notice period, and yeah, so as long as I stayed bound within that hotel, I stayed with that company. I think on the 41st day was like my last day. I quit, and I stepped out of that quarantine, and I stepped out of
The company.
employment. So yeah, this was like how I landed there, how I was unemployed the moment I landed in a new country, and I did not have funds, very honestly. And turns out, luckily, towards the end of the month, when I went and joined the residency in person, that is when they triggered the first investment into the company, which was just $25,000, and it hit the bank account after a week, and I got my salary again. Right. So yes, 3 months there, I was a part of Hacker Fellowship, more commonly known as HF0. It is one of the best in residency programs to be a part of, and slightly different from YC. YC allows online participation. SF0 mandates physical presence. They only run in the United States. The only reason that they were in Taiwan at that time was because at that time Taiwan had the lowest COVID rate in the entire world. So that is why they were in Taiwan, and that is the only reason why someone from India traveled to it. Otherwise, after me, no one from India has directly gone to HF0 yet.
Yeah, oh, interesting statistics. And what's the usual location for this?
US.
US. Okay, great. And I think you started your work on your startup when you
Yes.
came back to India. So what was that journey like, if we can brief it up?
I think my startup journey, I think the 4 years that I spent, extremely rewarding, to be honest, right? I mean, when you're in a startup, there's a different way that you think. Couple of my gray hairs here are because of that startup. But I think I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about how to get things done, and how not to be afraid of things, right? It was for this startup. I was a part of the residency. As I said, after 21 days, I stepped out of the residency. I was a free man, and I was also about to be deported, right? So turns out my visa for staying in Taiwan was for 30 days. And 21 days, I had to mandatorily stay inside the quarantine, right? I cannot step out to extend my visa. So on the 21st day, I came out. 22nd day, I spent the entire day with one of the top lawyers of Taiwan, and we prepared a very extensive documentation about why my visa should be extended. And on the 23rd day, we went to the immigration department. We submitted it. Their timeline for processing was 7 to 10 days.
You only had 7 days in your hands.
I technically had, I think, 5 days remaining, with the 6th day being the day I had to leave the country. So I remember I booked a ticket to Dubai. At that point of time, I booked a ticket to Dubai. I was like, I'll go to Dubai, I'll again apply, I'll come back. The day before I was supposed to leave, I got a call from the immigration department. They were saying, we have fast tracked your visa. Here you go, 60 more days.
Just on the edge.
Yeah, exactly on the edge. Like, I had my bag packed, right? So when you have been in that kind of situation to build something, you kind of become a bit fearless. You are like, we'll figure out.
कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा.
Something will work at the end of the day, right? And I think that is how I worked with my startup. We had amazing people. I think one of the best teams that I have seen personally. I think I had that. Everyone on the team was crazy good at what they did. And I will shamelessly admit this. We had my college juniors as well on the team. and they were handling stuff which was absolutely beyond me, right? So I think one of the best things that I have been able to do over the years is, first of all, I have been able to work very well with people who are senior to me. At the same time, people who are junior to me, they do not feel that I'm trying to like suppress them. So this has worked out very well for me, right? Anyone who has the right caliber, who has the right experience, I think I have been very well able to work with them, right? And this matters a lot when you're in a startup, because your startup is an entity which is out there in the world, and you have to deal with anything or anyone that comes by. You can't just choose your battles when you're in a startup, right? Everything will be thrown at you at once, and you have to deal with all of it at once, right? Your developer is sick, you have a client who needs something done, otherwise their business will get impacted, right? And at the same time, you have a TRAI raid happening on your office, which happened twice, right? So TRAI was not able to understand how is this team of 7 people placing 100,000 calls per day. Yeah. So we were flagged in a very long email by TRAI. That's a whole different story, right? When you are dealing with all these things, at some point you kind of get into that zone. We will see, we will figure out as things happen, right? I think that was very good. At the same time, I think I learned a lot about when not to do things. I think our idea was extremely early, right? The reason we shut down was probably because we started too early, right? The time when we were doing AI-powered call centers, virtual call centers on cloud, we had to explain to people what this is, how it works, is it even trustworthy, can it work for their workflows? We had to explain to people, everyone. You look at the market today. Even today, we get lots of inquiries asking for, can I use your solution? At that time, we were running the cheapest such solution in the entire world, and not by a small margin, kind of a margin of 7 to 8x. So the nearest competitor was 8x costlier than us, right? So we were running it at those like extremely negligible pricings. That could also have been a factor for why we died. Maybe if we had charged more, we could have survived. But then, would I have got a peaceful sleep at the end of the day? I don't know. I'm not that kind of person who will want to charge a high markup to anyone just because I can, or there's a scarcity of solutions. I think at the end of the day, right, it's very important that the business that you do lets you sleep well, lets your employees sleep well, right? No one should feel that they are doing dishonest work. And see, companies form, companies die, but the experience that people carry of you, that remains forever. All of my employees from the past, they are well connected to me. We still talk. In fact, whenever I visit Pune, I stay with one of them, right? So I think you form bonds of a lifetime if you do things right. If you do things unethical, maybe you can make a lot of money, maybe you can make the business grow a lot, but you will never have that kind of positive impact on anyone's life.
Right. So in the long run, if you see, you gain a lot of value from your startup.
Absolutely. I mean, even when we shut down, we did it very gracefully, right? We made sure that all our employees, for the last 2 months of their employment, they were paid for it and they were open to look for any job, right? So we told them that, hey, we have a runway of 2 months. Go ahead and find an alternative job. We will cover you till you do that, right? And all of them, they kind of made a jump with 2x or 3x. So I think we succeeded there.
Yeah, I think you groomed some nice people.
And even today, we talk very frankly. We get together once in a while. And at the end of the day, you have to think about it, right? Whatever we did for 4 years, when we ended on a very high note. And the people who were associated with us, all of them came out successful. That is important, right? Because what is the purpose of a business if not to improve lives around it?
Right. You mentioned about the TRAI rate, right? So can you elaborate more on that? I think it's very interesting topic.
Yeah. So let's say Kolkata does not have the best reputation about telecom centers.
Okay.
And interestingly, we were a business in Kolkata running an AI call center, which gets categorized under telecom, right? So the basic idea is that TRAI has, or had at least at that point of time, was that to place X number of calls, you had to have at least a fraction of that, maybe divided by 200, maybe divided by 300, as much as a person can place in a day, right? That number of calls, the number of people. And we were placing nearly 100,000 calls a day. And the photo of our office that we had submitted to TRAI to get the license of telecalling, telemarketing, in that photo, it was a small cabin with 5 chairs in it. So TRAI found it as a discrepancy and they reached out to Jio, who was our provider at that time. And Jio explained to them what we are doing. They said, we don't understand. We are sending a team to go and investigate. The Jio team forwarded us that email. It was roughly 14 pages long, big chain of emails. And we were like among the 10-15 call centers which had been flagged in Kolkata, we were at the top, right?
First one. कि इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा कुछ ना कुछ problem
the
है.
most flagged one, right? And the most discussed one. So yeah, we had a TRAI raid at our office, and we sat them down. Our lead engineer sat with them, explained them the entire system, how it works, how the calls get placed, how we are placing so many calls per day. And then they were like, okay, we are convinced. Good. They went away. And although they did go away, their systems were still not updated. So a couple of months later, another raid. I think the second time that they made the raid, they kind of took a note that, okay, this is a business which is coming up and there are others in the industry who are also starting to do this. So let's put it in our system that, okay, this is possible. This is not a red flag.
Okay, interesting story. Yeah. So now after startup, I think you're working as a senior ML engineer, right? Now, if you look back at all of this journey, right, from your childhood to now, imagine like you are going back to your village and you are telling this 3-4 year Anubhav that this is my life right now and this is all that I have did. How do you think that kid will respond?
I think freaking mind blown, right? See, you have to understand my village, right? Even today, right? आज की डेट में वहाँ पे 8 से 10 घंटे बिजली नहीं आती है, राइट? 6 घंटे आ गई तो बहुत बड़ी बात है. और मतलब थोड़ा शेड्यूल टाइप बन जाता है, सीजनल शेड्यूल है बिजली आने का, राइट? तो अभी भी वहाँ बिजली नहीं है. प्लस ओके, नाउ दिस इज़ गेटिंग रियली कैंडिड कि वहाँ पे अगर किसी से पूछो कि एक आदमी महीने में कितना कमा सकता है, तो द आंसर विल बी कि 60,000 80,000, बहुत ज़्यादा तो 1 लाख. ठीक है, उससे ज़्यादा तो कोई नहीं कमा सकता.
पॉसिबल ही नहीं है.
तो इनफैक्ट कुछ समय पहले मेरे गांव में एक बात फैली हुई थी मेरे बारे में. किसी ने तो फैला दिया था कि मेरे पिताजी का नाम लेके कि इनके लड़के ने प्रधान को 4 लाख दिए, इनके घर के पीछे एयरपोर्ट बनेगा और इनका लड़का फ्लाइट से आता जाता है, अब सीधे उस एयरपोर्ट पे आएगा.
वाह,
ठीक है, 4 लाख. ये कुछ दिन पहले की बात है,
लेकिन ये भी रिसेंट,
कुछ साल पहले नहीं, शायद पिछले साल.
ओह.
तो समझ जाओ, ठीक है. तो अगर मैं वही बच्चा होता, इवन अगर मैं कुछ 25 साल पहले की बात करूं, तब तो अलग ही था. आज की डेट में भी अगर मैं वो बच्चा होता, राइट, और मैं जाके खुद से मिलता और मैं बताता कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ एंड ऑल, आई थिंक फ्रीकिंग माइंड ब्लोन. मतलब ये कैसे हुआ, ये पॉसिबल भी कैसे था, ये होता भी है.
सो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि उतना कभी सोचा भी नहीं था कि इट वाज नॉट इन योर थिंकिंग बाउंड्री.
आई थिंक द बिगेस्ट ड्रीम विच आई हैड maybe somewhere around जब मैं क्लास 9 या 10 में था, आई रिमेंबर मैंने डायरी में लिख रखा था कि इस साल ये करेंगे, इस साल ये करेंगे, राइट। वहाँ पे आई थिंक लिखा हुआ था 2025 खुद का बिजनेस करूँगा। और आई थिंक उसमें लिखा हुआ था कि 1 करोड़ कमाएंगे।
दैट वाज द गोल।
राइट, सो कभी नहीं सोचा था कि फर्स्ट फंडिंग विल बी लाइक 4 करोड़, जो कि आज की डेट में ऑलमोस्ट 5 है।
इफ यू सी द डॉलर रेट।
या बट हाँ, मतलब कोई चांस नहीं कि मतलब विश्वास भी होगा। लाइक आई कम फ्रॉम अ टाइम जब गांव में, जब मैं बहुत छोटा था, आई थिंक क्लास 1 क्लास 2, गांव में टीवी बहुत कम लोगों के पास थी, और जो टीवी थी भी वो भी ब्लैक एंड वाइट थी। तो हमारे घर पे भी एक टीवी थी ब्लैक एंड वाइट, और उसको चलाने के लिए एक कार बैटरी पास के शहर, वो पास का एक टाउन था 2.5 किलोमीटर दूर, वहाँ पे जाते थे, उसको चार्ज कराते थे, लेके आते थे, और शाम को रामायण आता था। तो रामायण वो चलाने के लिए उस कार बैटरी से उस टीवी को कनेक्ट किया जाता था। तो जब तक वो रामायण चलता था, पूरे गांव से 20-25 लोग, बच्चे और बहुत लोग, मतलब अंकल आंटी सब आके वहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं, सब लोग साथ में उस ब्लैक एंड वाइट छोटी सी टीवी पे वो 1 घंटे रामायण देख रहे हैं। ठीक है, आई कम फ्रॉम दैट टाइम। कहाँ विश्वास होगा कि कंप्यूटर्स की दुनिया, क्लाउड, मशीन लर्निंग, ये सब हो रहा है।
Who would have thought you will go to Taiwan one day?
कभी नहीं सोचा था, बट ठीक है, हुआ। एंड
The extreme life arc, if you want to say that, yeah, and very different one.
इवन लाइक आज की डेट में भी अगर वहाँ के बच्चों से मैं जाके मिलूंगा ना, मैं उन्हें बताऊंगा कि ये हुआ है। लाइक बच्चों ही क्यों, मैंने इनफैक्ट मेरे गांव में किसी को अभी तक ये नहीं बताया कि मैं मेरी इनकम कितनी है। मैं नहीं बताता, मुझे पता है मैं बता ही नहीं सकता।
They would not believe.
ठीक है, पहली बात तो वो विश्वास नहीं करेंगे। ठीक है, और दूसरी बात ये कि जब कोई चीज़ बहुत अनबिलीवेबल हो जाती है ना आपके लिए, तो आप थोड़ा डाउट करने लगते हो, राइट, उस पर्सन पे। तो मैं ये नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, मैं जाके बस बोलता हूँ हाँ, काम चल जाता है,
चल जाता है बस। रोटी कपड़ा मकान मिल जाता है
बस।
तो when we were having the conversation earlier, you mentioned you like to read documentation, like you don't prefer video and anything else. Now if you see nowadays there is AI, right, there is ChatGPT, there is Claude. So resources are like at a click, right? But you had the very opposite of it. कि resources की कमी थी, you were just having those 2 books to start with C++. So what do you think कि अभी इतने easy resources मिल जाते हैं, तो इस पे learning करने में क्या change हुआ है अभी? कुछ changes have you noticed in recent times?
आई विल से कि रिसोर्सेज इतने ज़्यादा हैं कि इट्स वेरी इजी टू गेट लॉस्ट इन रिसोर्सेज। आप पढ़ने में ही इतने खो जाते हो कि आप गोल भूल जाते हो क्यों पढ़ रहे थे। ठीक है, ये अब बहुत ज़्यादा होने लगा है। और मेरा एक फ़िलॉसफी रहा है, देखो चीज़ें सीखने के 2 तरीके हैं, ठीक है, और इसको मैं इक्वेट करूँगा पहाड़ चढ़ने से। ठीक है, क्योंकि कोई भी नया चीज़ जब आप सीख रहे हो, कोई भी नया टेक्नोलॉजी है कुछ, तो वो एक तरह से पहाड़ चढ़ने जैसा ही होता है। तो अगर आप मुझसे पूछो कि पहाड़ चढ़ने के क्या तरीके हैं, 2 तरीके हैं। एक, आप पहाड़ चढ़ना सीखते हो, छोटे पहाड़ चढ़ते हो, बहुत सारे छोटे पहाड़ चढ़ना सीखते हो, फिर धीरे धीरे करके वो बड़ा पहाड़ आप चढ़ते हो। टाइम लगता है, अच्छे से पहुंच जाते हो, आराम से पहुंच जाते हो, टाइम बहुत लगता है। हो भी सकता है कि तुम भूल जाओ कि वो पहाड़ चढ़ना भी है, हो सकता है बीच में सोचने लगो कि पहाड़ चढ़ना ही क्यों है, इतने सारे छोटे पहाड़ तो मैंने चढ़ लिए, ये बड़ा वाला पहाड़ छोड़ देता हूँ, क्या बिगड़ जाएगा। ठीक है, दिस इज़ वेरी मच हाउ अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल लिव देयर लाइफ। दूसरा एक तरीका है कि आप कहीं से जुगाड़ करो, एक प्लेन ले आओ और बोल कि मेरे को पहाड़ के ऊपर गिरा दे,
जस्ट ड्रॉप मी,
देखा जाएगा। ठीक है, पहाड़ के ऊपर वो गिराएगा, चोट बहुत लगेगी और वहाँ पे सर्वाइवल करना नहीं आता होगा, लेकिन क्योंकि सर्वाइव करना है सीख जाओगे। ठीक है, कुछ नहीं तो पत्ते खाओगे लेकिन जिंदा रहोगे, और उसके बाद वहाँ से उतरना बहुत आसान है। ठीक है, सो अगर कोई चीज़ सीखनी है ना, ये सोचो कि इस चीज़ के बारे में हर चीज़ पढ़ लूँगा, ये इसके बारे में सब थ्योरी, हिस्ट्री, फिलॉसफी सब पढ़ लूँगा मैं इसका, और इसको कर लूँगा, बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा। हो सकता है बीच में बोर हो जाओ, हो सकता है भूल जाओ, हो सकता है कुछ और करने लग जाओ, हो सकता है इतना टाइम निकल जाए कि वो चीज़ करने का टाइम ही नहीं रह गया,
या मन ही नहीं कर रहा अभी,
या अब हो गया, उसकी नीड नहीं है अब। अगर करना है, अगर सीखना है, तो बस करना स्टार्ट कर दो, बाकी देख लिया जाएगा। ठीक है? जब जब चीज़ें सर्वाइवल पे आ जाती है ना, तो आदमी कुछ भी कर सकता है। ठीक है, तो स्टार्ट डूइंग थिंग्स, करते करते सीखो ना। अभी कोई भी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज मुझे जब सीखनी हुई है, तो इस तरह से नहीं सीखा है मैंने कि ये फंक्शन कैसे होते हैं, वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर कैसे किया जाता है, ऐसे नहीं स्टार्ट किया मैंने स्टार्ट किया सीधे कोड को कॉपी पेस्ट करके, सर्च करके इस कोड को मॉडिफाई करना है कैसे होगा, राइट। पहला जो सर्च इंजन बनाया था, कहीं पे एक जो मैंने बताया ना, एक प्रोग्राम उस समय एक सर्च इंजन बन रहा था जिससे मैंने बहुत सारा कोड उठाया था, मैंने उसको देखा, मैंने उसको उठाया, मैंने उसको मॉडिफाई किया, अपने चेंजेस डाले, राइट। मैंने कभी ये नहीं सीखा कि एल्गोरिदम ऐसे लिखा जाता है, मैंने कभी TF-IDF पढ़ा भी नहीं था, वो तो मैंने कहीं से TF-IDF छाप लिया था, उसको उठा के मैंने मॉडिफाई कर लिया। जब नहीं चला सही से तब मैंने उसको स्टडी किया, जब समझ में आया कि कीवर्ड स्टफिंग से प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, तो समझ में आया कि TF-IDF बोल के एक चीज़ होती है जिसकी वजह से हो रही है, राइट। तो ठीक है, सीख तो गया ना मैं, कर तो लिया ना। यही चीज़ अगर मैं TF-IDF सीखने में बिता देता ना, तो शायद मैं कभी वो सर्च इंजन बनाता ही नहीं, क्योंकि पहले ही पता चल जाता मुझे कि ये गलत आइडिया है, ये नहीं करना है, कुछ और सीखो, कुछ और बड़ा सीखो, कुछ और बेटर सीखो। बेटर सीखते 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 पता चला हाथ में PhD आ गई, सर्च इंजन बनाया है। ठीक है, तो करो, स्टार्ट डूइंग।
स्टार्ट डूइंग देन ट्राई टू फिगर आउट।
रिसोर्सेस मिल जाएंगे, पहले जो गोल है वहाँ पे एकदम स्ट्रेट वहाँ देखो और बोलो कि हाँ बस ये करना है, अभी करना स्टार्ट करूँगा, इसको करने के लिए जो चाहिए, जितना चाहिए उतना मैं कहीं से भी ढूंढ के पढ़ लूँगा, रिसोर्सेस मिल जाएंगे। ठीक है, वो गोल बहुत क्लियर होना चाहिए।
Understood. Yeah. So just to end with, what is that one piece of advice that you would like to share to anyone? I mean, generally from your experience.
I think, yeah, from my experience, I would say that my name is actually very interesting for this particular piece of advice कि सब चीज़ें एक्सपीरियंस करो, सब चीज़ें एक्सपीरियंस करो, डज नॉट मैटर, फेलियर एक्सपीरियंस करके देखो, सक्सेस एक्सपीरियंस करके देखो, राइट। और हर चीज़ ट्राई करो, there's nothing which will defeat your will power। अगर आपका मोटिवेशन सक्सेस नहीं है, योर मोटिवेशन इज़ टू लर्न, योर मोटिवेशन इज़ टू ग्रो, तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं जो तुम करोगे जो तुम्हें पीछे धकेलेगा, राइट। तुम कुछ भी कर रहे हो, तुम आगे बढ़ते रहोगे, बस ये चीज़ करो कि ट्राई करो, कितना भी वाइल्ड आइडिया है, कितना भी लॉन्ग शॉट है, लेके तो देखो, राइट। देयर इज दिस सेइंग कि 100% ऑफ द बैटल्स वेर लॉस्ट व्हेन यू डिड नॉट फाइट। ठीक है, तो इफ़ यू वांट इवन दैट 1% चांस ऑफ सक्सेस, तो लड़ना तो पड़ेगा।
You have to start.
Yes, you
Just
have to
Planning,
get in,
yeah.
you have to fight, you have to be there.
Because just planning won't get you there.
Exactly.
A lot of people just plan.
प्लान करते रहो, कुछ नहीं होगा।
Execution is the most important thing.
एंड खराब एग्जीक्यूट करो ना, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है, एग्जीक्यूट करके तो देखो, राइट। पहला सोशल नेटवर्क मैंने बनाया था, कुछ सिक्योरिटी के बारे में पता भी नहीं था मुझे, ठीक है, कि SQL इंजेक्शन क्या होता है, क्रॉस साइट स्क्रिप्टिंग क्या होती है, कुछ नहीं आता था, बस बना दिया है। चलना स्टार्ट हुआ ना, लोग आना स्टार्ट किया ना, 60,000 लोग आए ना उसमें, जैसे जैसे लोग आए वैसे वैसे मैंने सीखा कि हाँ ठीक है, ये वाली प्रॉब्लम होती है, इसको सॉल्व करना है, वो वाली प्रॉब्लम होती है, उसको सॉल्व करना है, बट कर तो लिया मैंने। अगर मैं पहले सारी साइबर सिक्योरिटी पढ़ने बैठ जाता तो मैं कब बनाता उसको,
जस्ट पढ़ते बैठते हैं कि हाँ।
सो दैट इज़ द थिंग, लाइक स्टार्ट डूइंग, बाकी सब फिगर आउट हो जाएगा।
Okay, I think thank you for all of your knowledge that you shared today. A lot about personal life, a lot about your technical career. I think very, very interesting conversation. And thank you for giving your precious time. And thank you for being here.
And thank you for making this happen. I mean, this is a great thing that you are doing, and I wish you all success. I know all of these people are part of this, right? And I think from what I've learned about success is that you don't care what others are saying. You just keep doing what you love, and success will eventually follow. That's the thing. See, people love following those kind of people who don't care about them, right? They are just happy in their own life. वो ना मस्त हाथी की तरह चले जा रहे हैं अपना, किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा, right? People love following those kind of people. So just keep doing. Don't care about whatever anyone says. Don't care about कैसा फीडबैक आ रहा है, कैसा रिएक्शन आ रहा है, बाहर में जाए करो ना. बहुत लोग तो इसी डर से कर नहीं रहे हैं.
राइट.
ठीक है, जस्ट स्टार्ट डूइंग. होगा, खराब हुआ कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन कुछ तो होगा.
At least you'll gain some experience
Yes.
out all of this. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for this advice.
Sure.
And I hope to see you again, and we'll do this again someday.
Yes, obviously we'll do this again.
Yeah. Sure. Bye.
Sure.